Hey friends. So I had one of those nights as a parent, by which I mean most parents can probably anticipate what I mean, but by which I mean Annalise woke up in the middle of the night and did not seem interested in going back to sleep. She seemed like she was ready to tackle the day at like 4:45 a.m. when she's been getting up at like 9:15, 9:30, a solid 4.5 hours before she usually wakes up. And I couldn't cuddle her back. I couldn't get her to settle down again. And ultimately, I just had to sleep in her bed, which usually works. I just lie there and I become this sleep magnet that just draws the room into sleep. Usually it's Katie who does that job, but I've been known to perform the task as well. And there was a moment last night when frustration almost got the better of me, because it can be exhausting. It is exhausting to be the only parent on duty, as Katie knows better than I. And there's a kind of hopelessness that tempts you every once in a while, where it's like, maybe tomorrow will just fall apart. You start to see I start to see my own energy level, my own, like how much runway is there left in the night to get rest, barreling into a day, knowing that now she's completely she's going to be probably a wreck by early in the day, because she had nowhere near enough rest. And I've fallen prey to it before, and it was definitely sort of like howling at the door last night. But I luckily didn't give into it. And I heard it. I heard the voice more than I started to go that direction. I heard the voice of that hopelessness or that darkness. And I was like, wait a minute. Why? Are you really the voice I want to listen to? And so I just lay there and I let her be restless. I let myself gravitate towards peace, kept rubbing her back, just like being as calming a presence as I could muster the energy to be. That's the thing, is that there's this dichotomy, or this, in order for me to be present with her and to help her settle, it takes my energy and attention. I have to be present, awake. But if I'm dying to fall asleep, a lot of times I'll just kind of like, my energy will start to settle, and sometimes that draws her along, but other times that just means she's like, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you with me? So there's this struggle of like, okay, if I want to get rest, I have to be awake now and actually engage with her until she can settle down. Well, eventually we both fell asleep and slept for another at least 2 hours, probably more like 2.5. And I did, and it wasn't, I wouldn't call it the most sound sleep of my life, but it was I woke up feeling good. I slept way longer than usual, but I woke up feeling pretty good. And so there's something that Sadhguru said recently on some video that I was watching, I forget. He talked about, somebody asked him a question about heaven and hell, the metaphysical reality of heaven and hell or something, why do all cultures seem to have this heaven and hell thing? And he said, well, when we are incarnated in body, we have our karma, our thoughts, our negative and positive influences, and we have the mind. We have a mind and a body, a concrete fixed point. And when we have that, we can choose what impulse we're going to follow. We can have lots of dark impulses and choose not to follow them. And when you die, that intervening, that fixed point, that concrete discriminating mind goes away, and all that's left are our impulses. So our impulses amplify. It's like they run at light speed. There's nothing, they're not bouncing off a body mind anymore. They're not slowed down by the process of having to animate a physical being. And there's no purchase to choose. I'm paraphrasing what he said. I'm putting it into my own words, because it resonated so deeply with me, and it was something that I've heard this before. I've read this other places, other mystics and people have said essentially the same thing, which is heaven and hell are us. Heaven and hell we contain them within us. And the beauty of a human existence is that we get to slow down in our experience of our karma, of our insights, of everything that comes through us. We get to slow down and discriminate and dose both our experience of them and our response to them. We can choose a response because we have time to let that impulse land and go, wait, what is it? And choose light. And it's just hitting home to me how significant that is. It's an amazing elucidation of the kind of metaphysical realms of darkness and light that happen after life. But it's also such a massive affirmation of what it means to be a human, what it means to have a human life, what it means to have the capacity to be here and navigate this terrain. Unbelievable. And I suppose in some ways these events and these moments of choice show up in so many different realms, but man, is parenting ever a big one. because our kids are this mirror of us. They are this ingesting of, they have their bone, they come with their own karma, their own soul identity, and then they just absorb everything around them. So we are very expressed in them, we as parents. And those moments of choice, man, they can be big. It can really feel like, what am I going to choose? Am I going to choose heaven or hell today for myself? And what am I modeling? What am I demonstrating? So yeah, just some light thoughts on parenting today, I suppose. Thanks for watching, people. Looking forward to a great day. It's a gorgeous day on the lake. Probably gonna go tubing. I appreciate you. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow.